welcome back to another Metal Mondays. We just played Torture Tactics from Violence and The New Order from Testament. I have two lovely guests with me tonight, Mr. Tanner Poppet from Madras and
Howdy.
Lynx from Old Blood. Welcome, guys.
Hey, hey.
Thanks for having me on the show again. So, how you ladies been?
Good.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Well, haven't burned yet.
You haven't burned? You haven't burned one yet? Is that what
haven't burned up yet, like the rest of California, but
okay.
you know.
Well, that's good.
I know my neighborhood was literally on fire like a mile from my house, so luckily my house is still here.
There's a fire engine right outside right now, like in front of the next building. I saw it through the bathroom window. I was just like, okay, I hope I don't have to go anywhere.
Don't worry, this interview will conclude soon. So you have a fantastic new record. I'm just going to throw it out there. If nobody has picked up this fine dandy record here, the Acid Doom release from Old Blood, it is a great record. And I'm just kind of curious. I always start off here. Tell me about the writing process and the recording process for this particular record that is released this year.
Yeah, well, the first two songs that I wrote on that album were part of my test after being granted the opportunity to be in the band. It was kind of on a 2-month trial basis. I had to write 2 songs, finish 1 song, and learn everything that they already had, which was only 7 songs. So it was a fairly simple task or test for me, but it was exciting because I got into that material. They had all of that music already written. And so it just needed lyrics and melodies. And I dove in, I grabbed my tome of wayward lyrics, my big notebook of just lines that sound cool together. And just the music was so provocative and super, just juicy. I loved getting into writing it. I think I did like 3 songs, maybe 4 pretty quickly before my 2 months were up. So
juicy lyrics. I like it. Emily, go for it.
What's crazy is when you say that, it reminds me of when Brian Johnson from AC/DC joined AC/DC for the Back in Black. They did the same thing. They had him come in, they wrote the music already, but they gave him you have to write the lyrics. So it sounds like you guys kind of went through the same process.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot of stuff that they had been, pounding out for a long time. And the band had been together for, I guess, almost 6 years when I joined. They had an album out before. The original singer got married and didn't want to tour anymore. So, she left. It was an amicable parting, but they wanted to keep going. And when I found out, was actually exactly 2 weeks after I saw them at the Viper Room. My buddy Tom Chandler, who actually ended up producing that album that you have there, Acid Doom, he messaged me. He's like, "Did you hear what happened with Old Blood? The singer just quit." And I was like, "What? They're great. I just saw them." He's like, "Get in touch with Andrew Bonsall, who's the manager and also who runs Metal Assault Records." I got him on the horn. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on with Old Blood?" And he invited me to come down to audition, and the rest is my story, I guess.
Nice. That's insane. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, where are you originally from? And I'm going to preference this not by being an asshole, but by just I don't know anything about like kind of where your particular story started. So can you give me some sort of backstory just on you, like musically speaking?
Indeed. Yeah. I was born, bred, and buttered in Seattle. I grew up loving the Great Northwest and just music in general. My mom always says I came out singing. I always liked more heavier music, but only really knew how to find pop music on the radio, top 40 stuff. But then when I was about 10, I was loaned a copy of Kill 'Em All by a neighbor. And also, I think, a Danzig tape, maybe even a Whitesnake tape. Like, he gave me a bunch of stuff to listen to, and I was like, "Ooh, this stuff is cool." And I started playing along. I was in the orchestra from the age of 10, so I started playing along with the guitar solos and really getting into that kind of musical study because it was so similar to classical. And that's kind of, I mean, I was a ballet dancer. I was a singer in school, in church. Music had to be a part of my everything. And I finished high school, went to college in New York, studied acting and directing, but I was always singing. I was still doing, little shows here and there around town, just singing solo or I did some drag shows too when I was in New York, which was fun. But yeah, it's always been music. Music's always been number one for me. Performance, period. Right. But music was like.
Well, how did you come to California from New York?
I had gone back home after graduation. I went Seattle, New York, Seattle, and did a show on stage while I was there. Did a production of Little Shop of Horrors, actually, right after graduating from NYU with the theater degree. So I'm like, okay, let's use this thing. And one of my best friends from high school was like, we're thinking about going down to LA. Let's try it out. One of our other friends was down here already. Let's see if we can get a job where he was working. 1-800-DENTIST. We came down and we all kind of ended up going our separate ways after the first couple of years. We're all still friends, but I kind of went more toward the acting thing. Another one went more toward voiceovers. I had a few good years, probably about 5 good years working on TV. As a background actor, as a stand-in, as a day player, mostly on David E. Kelly stuff. Boston Public. I played a high school kid well into my 20s on Boston Public. And a little bit on Boston Legal. And then I really focused more on music after that. And that took a while to kind of catch hold because I was like not really spending time in the places that I needed to go yet. I wasn't hitting the Strip on the weekends. I was still hanging out here in Santa Monica all the time and playing Irish music with my boyfriend. And, I was in a couple of cover bands, a disco band with Harry Ostrom. I don't know if you know him.
Not familiar. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
Really cool band.
Disco band in like the 2000s?
In 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know there was a scene for it, so that's awesome.
Well, I mean, it's modern stuff. It was comical. He was writing it, and it was really good. It was a lot of fun. I don't know what he's doing with it now, but he's still around. I just saw him in a commercial the other day.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
nice. Were you in like any other bands before, prior before going into Old Blood?
Right before Old Blood, the most recent was a cover band called Run for Cover, LA. And we had a lot of local West Side gigs, Santa Monica, Culver City, El Segundo. Prior to that was the disco band. Prior to that was doing stuff with the lads, all the Irish music. And a little bit here and there with a project that didn't really go too far called Sleaze Pocket, which was a pretty heavy project. But there's always been some reason to sing.
Pretty much,
totally.
Yeah.
Emily, you want to go into some jams real quick?
Yeah, we're going to play Black Future from Vector here on
Razor Radio.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming back from To Prevail the Wicked from the new Madras record. If you guys haven't checked out that record, you guys need to go check it out. It's fantastic.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the support. And then obviously before that, we heard some Black Future from the mighty Vector. Goes hand in hand, I think. Now, Lynx, I'm just kind of curious, obviously you're predominantly in like kind of more rock-based bands, but where did your love for like the more like extreme style of metal kind of come into play for you, especially around like LA?
I think it came in long before I came to LA. I mean, I love heavy music because it's powerful. because it's louder than I was ever allowed to be. Gives me a reason to scream. And honestly, like ever since being in the heavier bands, I've loved my voice more. My voice has gotten better. It just feels right. You know?
But on this record, but on the like the old blood stuff, you're kind of like more of a singer kind of vibe with a little bit more spacious stuff. So I was just kind of curious on the whole, blast beaty, death metal-y kind of stuff that you're, active in the scene for. Like obviously we all go to most of those shows, but it's kind of cool that you're in more of a rock-based project and still have an appreciation for the heavier style bands.
Oh yeah. Well, this particular style really got massaged. It got massaged a lot because I kind of went into it thinking I'm going to be as heavy as I possibly can. And, sometimes they'd be like, okay, yeah, a little bit less grit, a little more groove. Like they coaxed more of that melodic thing out of me through just trial and error with lyrics, trial and error with melody, lines. Yeah, I kind of went into it thinking I'm going to be as punk as I want to be. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? They're giving me the opportunity to use every level of art that I've done in my life. And so I'm going to use it all. I've got all these pieces. I've got the skills. I might as well throw them all in there. See what sticks.
Absolutely.
I agree. Your voice is great on the record. Definitely.
Thank you.
It's killer.
Yay.
Go for it, Emily. Your shot.
So my question is, like, who picked the album cover? Because I enjoy the album cover a lot. It's very different than what you usually see.
I kind of had the final say on that. Octopus, our bass player, he came up with a few mock-ups of ideas. We had actually had one idea that a lot of people had put in ideas on, and it just didn't pan out. So we had taken some test shots, and it was like, no, it's too busy. And so then one day he sent me like 6 options that were all kind of along the same lines, but simpler. And this was the one I was like, yeah, she's got the glass of wine. She's got the knife. Like,
and where did you guys take that picture at?
The photographer, Sal, I can't remember his last name. I'm so sorry, Sal, but he rocks. He took some great shots of us at the Old Town pub in Pasadena. Lots of peas. And so we had him. He actually works with Octopus, I believe, or has worked with him. And we went to his place, and I wasn't actually sitting on the person. We green screened it and made it look like I was perched high upon my prey, who, if you look closely, you'll realize is Cole Gunner, our guitarist.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was a person because it's so dark. It's literally just all black, and then I just see a leather jacket. So
right,
I thought you were just stabbing a leather jacket. I don't know. That's why I didn't know like what the whole like concept for it was, and like what your idea for
right.
it. So that's probably what. And then, but how does the album title pertain to the cover? Because that's my other question, where it was like, I don't know how this all kind of coincides with each other, sort of thing.
Well, the album title pretty much is pertaining to what we're doing. We're doing acid rock. It's doom rock. It's bluesy. It's a little bit of earthing. It's a psychedelic doom carnival. But the imagery kind of is, it could be the end of the story of track number 6. Sloth God is a song where basically the female character is preying on some dude.
So is it a concept record, or is it just for particular to that song?
It's pretty much a concept album, but it's not all one story. It's a collection of stories that, in my mind, as I wrote the lyrics, was kind of a Lynx, being the watcher, sees all these horrible things happening in the world and is talking about it, and talking about it from the experiential point of view, like it is happening to me and ouch, 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 or I'm doing this to you and ouch, 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 or this is how you're experiencing life right now because it is ouch, ouch, ouch. It's It's an observational theme or concept.
Okay.
Nice. Do you have a favorite song off of the record?
Oh God. I bounce back and forth between Bridge to Nowhere, mainly because that was the last one we wrote and it came together so quickly, but it just was like, I was shocked at how easily it wrapped itself around. And Sloth God.
Okay.
But then again, Vein Scraper.
That's my favorite track.
You know
Just throwing it
what?
out there.
There's 9 really cool songs on this thing.
There is, man. There is.
I don't get tired of listening to it. It's weird. I used to hate listening to myself sing.
Ditto.
But this album, it was weird, right?
Yeah. Is this your first record? Not to cut you off.
This is my first full length with any one band. I've got a lot of random recordings out there. I think the most I've done was maybe like a 3-song EP, and it wasn't me being the main singer. So I was singing backups or playing violin or, something else.
Now I'm going to go, I want to go off of this point here. When you're approaching a bigger piece of the, I'm going to say a bigger piece of the puzzle here, because, you guys, you in your career, you're working on kind of small pieces, you're doing a song here or 3 songs here, with a 9-song record. How do you approach it stylistically wise with your voice, hearing these particular songs maybe for, the first time and recording them for the first time? What is your approach to your singing style for a project, this kind of massive for you for your first time?
Right. Well, each song was its own story. Each song, I sat down, got quiet, listened to whatever was going on around me or looked through my lyric list and just let the sound of the instrumentation inform what I'm going to do. And then, of course, once I bring it into the guys, that may shift and change, or it may evolve like more away from what I had already originally thought. But yeah, I mean, I get really personal with each track before I sit down to write. I will listen to it over and over and over again. I will make notes. I will sit by the ocean and breathe salt air, like anything to clear my head of any preconceptions. And then I let the music tell me what it wants to be. And that'll inform the sound, that'll inform the vocal style, the lyric choice, what have you.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into some of that if you don't mind. Because I want our listeners, to get this record, because it's a really good record. I've never heard anything like it so far, but maybe my taste is just not that huge as I thought. But I really dig this record. So I want to.
I'm glad
to kind of get into some of it. So Emily, are you ready?
All right, we're gonna play some Lake Bottom off of the new Old Blood record.
The new Old Blood record right now on Razor Radio.
All right, we're coming back from the song Vein Scraper from Old Blood. Tanner's favorite.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to have a cheese grater scraping my arm. But
no.
So, but yeah, no, it's like I said, truly, I think this is really good stuff. I've just never heard anything like it. So I'm always fascinated by new kind of sounds. And I think you guys recorded it really well for being your first record. And it's obviously coming out on Metal Assault Records. So I'm just kind of curious how you guys hooked up with them, or maybe there's some of the stuff you've heard on how Old Blood kind of hooked up with Andrew and Metal Assault.
Well, Andrew had been managing the band prior to my joining. And Andrew and I have been great friends for a long time. And like I said, Tom Chandler told me, get in touch with Andrew when the vocalist position opened up. Tom Chandler is the one that I brought in to record this because he was really, supportive of me doing this. He's the reason I'm in the band. And everything that I've heard him do, I've loved. So I'm like, hey, come in on this. And he came in and he met up with us. And as he said in his Facebook post about the whole experience. He said he came in on asshole mode just to like, set his territory. But everybody dug him. Everybody understood what he was after, and he was after making this the absolute best album we could possibly make. And I was like, okay, let's dive on in. And when we got in that room, everybody just like locked in and worked so damn hard. It was amazing, and I didn't look at it as a huge project for my first full length. I looked at it as a collection of single songs. I mean, I've written a ton of songs in my life, so I've probably got enough to put on a solo thing of 14 tracks or something just by myself. But like, we had been working on these and just chiseling away at them for so long that it was like, okay, let's just make it happen.
Totally.
It was great. It was easy.
Nice. How long was the recording process?
We started in December, mid-December of last year. I went home for Christmas to Seattle. Now think about what was going on in Seattle, through Seattle, and traveling through SeaTac Airport right around this time. Came back here and had 6 international travelers staying in my house for the next month and a half. Got sick in the middle of that. But we finished it up in January and February. Very beginning of February, I think, was when we finally finished putting the last tracks on.
So right before this whole thing that we're still experiencing, huh?
Exactly. Which is why I started scratching at the walls and things.
Imagine recording it 2 months later. You guys would have been fucked.
Exactly. No. I mean, we got it done. We had the first show that we had this year was where we shot the video for Vein Scraper. It was at the Old Town Pub on February 22nd? Or no? Oh my God, why can't I remember the date?
I'm going to say late February then.
Yeah, late February, because it was exactly 22 years after I moved to LA that night. Like, we went on stage at 7:34 p.m., which was when my plane landed 22 years ago.
Years? You're not that old. There's no way. There's no way. I don't believe you right now.
I've been here for half my life now.
Wow.
I've been in LA for 22 years. You do the math.
I'm just putting out there. I had no idea. So.
I'm too busy to age. So,
we all are. Now let's go back to the solo thing that you were kind of referencing. If you actually, hypothetically speaking, wanted to do a solo record, how would you approach it differently than some of the old blood kind of stuff?
That's the thing. Well, at least now I know enough people that I could like bring in to do it. Like, I can't play guitar to save my life. My hands are too small. I struggle with the violin, but itty bitty paws. But at least I know people now that would be like, hey, I could play this on that. And that could be fun. I also, again, want to be louder than a lot of the stuff that I have just kind of tucked away in the ether. But I don't know, someday rewrite something and make it heavier, make it more current.
That'd be cool.
And now, would you put more of like an emphasis on like the grit of your voice instead of the singing kind of aspects and melodicisms? Would kind of
depends on the song.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. Some of the songs need to be very sweet. But
I think
then
she should sing us into the next you should sing us into the next fucking segment there.
Oh, let's see. Wait, what is that next song? We got another. Oh, yes.
Well, Emily, you have another question though?
I was gonna ask you. So I saw that you guys have a few different, because I looked at your vinyls. Did you pick, since it says Lynx as one of the colors, did you pick the 2 colors on that record?
Yeah, we each picked the editions. They showed us all the options, and we each picked the ones that we liked the best.
Tanner has the one that you designed.
I know. I have you on vinyl. So anyway, let's get into some jams real quick, and we'll be back. What do you say?
All right, we're gonna play My Jurisdiction from the new Armored Saint record here on
Razor Radio.
Oh, right. We're coming back from the Black Things from Metal Church.
Love
One
it.
of Tanner's favorites.
Favorite metal band of all time. No ands, ifs, or buts. Mighty Metal Church. Now this is the we want to thank you obviously for coming on the show. This is kind of the point in the interview where we like to give out all your links to where people can purchase the record. And this is getting a Tanner Poppet approved. I don't know if that means anything, but I really dig this record. So, where can people find this?
Well, guess what's coming up soon? Well, actually, it's not as soon as this week, but Bandcamp Friday is coming soon. So we always like to promote that. We actually hit the top 100 rock albums sold recently for Bandcamp, which was like, wait, what? But Bandcamp, of course, all of the streaming. Go to @OldBloodGroup on any of the socials. You can find us. And YouTube has the full album up there with the tracks that include videos. So you can watch the videos along with, and I think there's maybe 4 done. We have another one coming out this Bandcamp Friday as well for the song Pentahead. So that'll be great.
Absolutely. Now, Bandcamp, I want to kind of get to this real quick. You know, I think Bandcamp, it literally is the most important platform for a band. I don't think it's all these social media ones. I think Bandcamp has kind of taken it over. You know, it's fair to bands. It pays bands well.
Especially now. Now more than ever.
And I like the concept of like, because obviously I'm in a band, you're in a band as well. Where we have at least one day a month where fans can actually go out and support a band 100%. You know, like there are a lot of people that say that wait for Bandcamp Friday, and I love it because I do the same thing. If I have buddies' bands, you know, I'll go out and buy their records because you know I just want to support them. So I just think just want to throw it out there. Bandcamp to me is the most important platform, and I just wanted to know your thoughts on, or if there's something better. I don't know.
I concur. I concur, especially with what's been going on. I mean, we can't tour. We can't do gigs. They're starting to slowly but surely trickle in here and there, but who knows how long that's going to last. Bandcamp has done an amazing job at keeping bands on the forefront and just in the conversation. And every month, I set aside about $100 and I click in there and I'm like, okay, who are we following? Who are we supporting? Like I find out what my friends are doing.
You get
you know,
or the CD.
I purchased some great merches and post online too. Just like, hey, check this out. This is really cool. I just picked this up. And I also ask, I need to figure out who I'm going to support this month. Shoot me some names, drop me some links. Like my personal purpose on this planet is to keep rock and roll alive and well. So
I want to say that's what we all have in common here. That's why we do the things we do.
Amen.
Absolutely. Emily, what do you got?
So I have a question for you, Tanner. Did you get it signed? Because they offer.
No, I did not get it signed.
Why
no,
not? It was only a few.
You always get stuff signed.
Because we'll probably all have lunch one of these days, and I will probably bring this because that's the kind of fan I am.
Okay.
And supporter. Because I like to boost people's egos at lunch, So
and we can get it signed for you a little differently, so it's even more rare.
There you go, Emily. That's why I didn't. How about that one? But I want to thank you so much, seriously, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Any last parting words? Like you said, find you on Facebook and the interwebs, and of course Bandcamp.
Yeah.
So yeah, go for it.
Facebook, Insta @OldBloodGroup, also @Metal Assault. You can find a ton of great stuff on Metal Assault, of course. And of course, Bandcamp Friday, man. Just keep music flowing. Keep it loud, keep it relevant, and keep paying our friends, because not many people want to right now.
Absolutely. Well, Emily, should we sign off here?
Yes, we're going to end the show with 99 Ways to Die from Megadeth. See you guys next Monday here on
Razor Radio.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in. Hey, before we sign off here, I got to get a promo from you. So, hey, this is Lynx from Old Blood, and you're listening to Razor Radio. That's
Great.
it.
Hey, this is Lynx from Old Blood, and you are listening to Razor Radio.
Bye, kids.